Good evening and welcome to Svg Tv's news for Wednesday, October 5th, 2022. I'm Triska Campbell with the details. A strong tropical wave with a high chance of further development within the next 5 days is expected to affect St. Vincent and the Grenadines over the next few days. As a result, a flash flood watch is in effect for SVG until further notice. An update provided by the SVG Met Services and the National Emergency Management Organization NEMO urges residents and motorists in areas prone to flooding and landslides or near rivers and streams to be prepared. A flood watch is issued when conditions are favorable and there exists the possibility of flooding during a watch period. The authorities say that a flash flood watch may be upgraded to a warning if conditions warrant. A high wind advisory is also in effect, and residents are strongly urged to be vigilant against falling trees, limbs, loose outdoor objects, and disconnected overhead wires. Seas are forecast to become moderate to rough in open waters, with swells ranging between 2.5 and 3 meters. According to the Marine Advisory, only vessels capable of withstanding these swells' magnitude should venture out. Sea bathers are also advised to stay out of the water. Today is being observed in St. Vincent and the Grenadines regionally and internationally as World Teachers' Day under the theme, "The Transformation of Education Begins with Teachers." In an address to mark the occasion, President of the SVG Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, says World Teachers' Day is another occasion to celebrate and pay tribute to teachers because of the pivotal role that they perform in the transformation of education.
Our teachers' contribution to the development of a better society must be celebrated and must never be underestimated. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union salutes our teachers even more as some of our members have been dismissed by the mandatory vaccination policy of the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union calls for the repeal of this act and the reinstatement of teachers with all benefits. Those of our members in the classroom have continued to work assiduously despite the many challenges that they face. And as a union, we continue to express sincere appreciation for your successes.
And says teachers locally have been facing numerous challenges for the past year, particularly with the government's COVID-19 mandate. He added that teachers continue to be a heartbeat of the education sector and that they have done so under many difficult circumstances and must be applauded.
The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union continues to generate awareness of most of these challenges affecting all our members. We do this with the reaffirmation that the transformation of education begins with teachers. I want to use this opportunity to wish all our teachers every success and a happy World Teachers' Day. Long live the teachers of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Thank you, and God bless you.
In his message to mark World Teachers' Day, Minister of Education Curtis King thanked all the teachers across St. Vincent and the Grenadines for their effort and hard work in building the education sector. Minister King says he wishes all teachers success and prosperity as they continue to leave an impact on the students of this country.
This year's observation has as its theme, "The transformation of education begins with teachers." Indeed, this theme indicates the critical role of teachers in the creation of a new paradigm in education in light of our experiences during the COVID-19 pandemic. Moreover, it is a celebration of the courage, commitment, and tremendous efforts of our teachers and their colleagues the world over to ensure that education continued during one of the world's deadliest pandemics, the COVID-19 pandemic. The Ministry of Education, and by extension, the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, embrace this opportunity to once again say thanks to our teachers and express our gratitude for their magnificent efforts. No praise is too great for such a sterling contribution.
Mr. King said that the Ministry of Education and the government on a whole remain committed to the personal and professional development of the nation's teachers.
Consequently, we will continue to provide and increase opportunities for their higher education and professional training. We will continue to enhance their working conditions and terms of employment, and we will continue to provide psychosocial support for those teachers in need of such support. Teachers, I ask that you give the Almighty One thanks and praises for his inspiration and protection during the recent challenges. Give serious reflection on your experience thus far and thoughtful consideration to your journey ahead. Parents, guardians, and students, make a special effort today to show even greater appreciation for our teachers as they celebrate their special day. To all teachers, have a blessed and wonderful Teachers' Day.
In other news now, a new Attorney General is expected to take office here on November 1st, 2022. This from Prime Minister Dr. Gonzales, who at a news conference yesterday said the process of consultation has been completed under the Constitution, and he has been informed by the Judicial and Legal Services Commission that someone has been approved to begin the work as of November 1st.
That particular correspondence which I saw yesterday, well, Sunday night really, I sent it to the relevant entities in the state administration so that they would be alerted, because there are some formal processes which have to be done. As you'd appreciate, this person is going to be a public service attorney general, and therefore there's a different process for a public service attorney general than if it were an attorney general as a quote-unquote political appointee, and that is an elected representative or a senator.
And when do you think all of these processes will be completed so that an announcement can be made?
Well, I am hopeful that by the 17th of October, when I go to Parliament, I may be able to make that announcement.
Prime Minister Dr. Gonzales at yesterday's news conference was asked about Dave Ames, an investor in SVG who was jailed last Friday in the United Kingdom for 12 years following his conviction on fraud charges. The 70-year-old chairman of the Harlequin Business Group was jailed for defrauding thousands of British investors over holiday properties in the Caribbean, including the Bocaumans Bay Resort. A court in the UK last month heard how Ames had exposed over 8,000 investors, many with little investing experience, to huge losses between 2010 and 2015. His fraudulent activities have been estimated at £226 million. At Tuesday's news conference, PM Gonzales was asked by journalist Kenton Chance what is the view of his government that such a crime occurred in relation to a project executive in SVG under his administration. In his response, PM Gonzales said it is unfortunate that persons in the United Kingdom who invested their money lost their money.
Regulatory agencies in the United Kingdom dealing with pension issues, we are not the regulatory agency for those things. So I think that is unfortunate, and clearly The court heard the evidence and the court has come to a particular conclusion. Dave Ames would have all the rights attendant upon somebody who is convicted. I don't know if he's appealing or what. But I will tell you this as a practical matter. If it is unlikely Bookament wasn't built, that we'd have had a Sandals starting from scratch here.
Prime Minister was also asked if he thinks SVG suffered a reputation damage from the Ames case. He replied, no. At all.
The name of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, not St. Vincent and the Grenadines, all of this, understand this, all of this, the extent of the monies that Dave Ames would have utilized, not related simply to Bookament, you know. In fact, in the case of Bookament is the only place that you had a real asset. That, you know, St. Lucia, there was Barbados, there was something in the Dominican Republic. Don't forget that, Kenton. I'm sure you have followed the issue. But for us, there's been, I don't see the reputational damage, because in the United Kingdom, they have had projects in the United States, people in this or that state or this or that area of the United Kingdom, people have done things which are judged to have been fraudulent, and they haven't suffered, the respective entities haven't suffered any, the countries haven't suffered any reputational damage. I don't see it suffered, that we have suffered any reputational damage. If we had suffered reputational damage with that, I don't think Sandals would be here. They're a very reputable company. The proof of the pudding is in the eating.
The Prime Minister was also asked if Ames' citizenship as of inception has been revoked since his conviction and prison sentence. This was part of Dr. Ralph Gonzales' response.
I make it my business not to discuss individual cases of citizenship or what has been done unless it arrives at a point which is necessary and desirable to do so. Mr. Ames was never issued a passport of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, you know. I have no doubt that he had his own reasons for wanting to be a citizen of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
The Prime Minister noted that SVG Citizenship Act clearly outlines the grounds under which a person can be deprived of that citizenship, among them if they have been convicted of a criminal offense beyond a particular term, noting that Ames's case would qualify and if left the country for 5 years or more, and you have not written to the authorities that you are still interested in being a citizen and the reason why you haven't returned, or you checked in at a consulate or embassy of SVG.
And the evidence is that 5 years, more than 5 years, have elapsed since Mr. Ames left St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And there is no report at any embassy or any consulate, and certainly to no authority in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Just one clarification, Prime Minister. This revocation, if somebody stays out of the country for 5 years or fails to check in with a consulate or embassy, is it automatic or is it at the discretion of the cabinet or the minister?
I can't recall that if it's a discretion. I have to double check it.
PM Gonzales further responded to the question that as the minister responsible for citizenship, he would have advised the cabinet accordingly since the matter arose and is in the public domain that he has advised the High Commission in London to make an application to provide a transcript of the proceedings, including a minute of Ames convictions, noting that SVG is a nation of laws. Two Vincentian nationals who are said to be a couple appeared in a UK court today, accused of tying up and killing an elderly woman in northwest London and then spending £14,000 of her money. Susan Hockey, 71, was found dead at her home on September 26th after a neighbor became concerned. Media reports from the UK say police forced their way into the elderly woman's home and found her body decomposed, tied up under a duvet. The two Vincentian nationals, Chelsea Grant, 27, and Zaya Howard, 22, appeared in court today charged with murder, which prosecutors believe was committed between September 2nd and 7th. According to a report from the BBC News, the Old Bailey court was told how Miss Hockey's hands had been bound behind her back with fabric and parcel tape, and she may also have been gagged. Prosecutor Ben Holt told the court the case involved the assault of a vulnerable victim that culminated in the victim being tied up in her own home. The BBC report says the court heard that Grant, whom is pregnant, and Howard are also charged with 2 counts of fraud. They are accused of making 143 transactions on the deceased's bank card in the days after her death, amounting to more than £14,000. A provisional trial date has been set for September 4th next year. Both defendants were remanded into custody. The Ministry of Education on Tuesday, October 4th, 2022, launches National Science and Technology Fair under the theme Scientific Innovation and Creativity, Keys to Our Nation's Resiliency. The Science and Technology Fair was designed to showcase science and technology in SVG and to also involve Vincentians in the learning of science. Speaking at the launching of the event, Senior Education Officer for Science, Janita King, outlined the objective of the fair, noting that it helps to increase interest in science-related careers.
Objectives of the fair are as follows: to provide opportunities for collaboration and teamwork, to highlight and publicly recognize the inventiveness of our future scientists, to increase interest in science and science-related careers, to create an atmosphere of intellectual curiosity, to improve the community's perception of science. Let us never lose sight of these objectives, because it is in becoming more and more evident, or rather it is becoming more and more evident in today's world that we need the help of responsible, innovative, and creative scientists who respect nature and God.
The King also gave an overview of the upcoming fair, which begins on November 7th and concludes on November 11th.
The Monday of the fair would be the setup day, that's the 7th. The Tuesday and Wednesday would be the judging days. The Thursday, we are having the UNESCO World Science Day, which is part of our exhibition day. So that day will be open to the public. And on that day, we will also be giving recognition to science in St. Vincent and the Grenadines by going out. We're going to take some of our projects out into the public and showcase them so that more persons can be reached. The Friday of the fair is the half-day public exhibition, and then we will close our spectacular event with the prize-giving ceremony in the afternoon. The venue is the Kingstown Anglican School Annex, opposite Victoria Park.
Students from kindergarten to post-secondary level are eligible to enter the science fair with a number of prizes to be won.
Persons who are practicing science and they want to showcase something that they have done, you can all enter and be eligible to win a prize. The categories. For primary, we're taking the categories from the 5 strands of the learning standards. Primary, earth and space science, physical science, life science, technology, and science and technology in the environment. For the secondary categories, okay, we have biology, agricultural science and environmental science, physics, engineering and computer science, chemistry and food science, and then there is behavioral science. The Go Creative category, although it has been a staple of many of our fairs, has now been merged into the other categories, where we will have a team who will identify those projects that stick out or stand out for their inventiveness and their originality.
While stressing the importance of science and technology, Chief Education Officer K. Martin Jack said that in this technological world, one cannot function effectively or efficiently without the help of science and technology. Martin Jack said students are custodians of the earth and have a significant role to play in enhancing what is already there.
We all know the value it adds to our daily lives. For different inventions of science have made our lives simpler, easier, and stress-free, and Bria mentioned a few of them a while ago. Not to mention that it has taught us how to become more modernized and innovative. And we had an example here this morning with the children and the instruments that they're using to play music. As a result, young people, you are the custodians of this earth and have a significant role to play in further enhancing what currently exists. You are to let your creativity strive and come forth. Put your ideas into action. Think about it and do it. In doing so, you would be one of the key players in ensuring that St. Vincent and the Grenadines would be self-sufficient. That would most definitely contribute to our economic growth.
The Chief Education Officer further encouraged students to participate in the National Science Fair, noting that it is her hope that the Ministry of Education will be able to achieve the objective of the Science Fair.
Today, I want to encourage all the incredibly talented young boys and girls in the schools across St. Vincent and the Grenadines to come forward and demonstrate your experiments and your inventions. Any one of you can be the next Albert Einstein, Dr. Mae Jemison, Alexander Fleming, or Elon Musk. And you know, you started showing it this morning in the little challenge that you were engaged in. You can create. You can build. Basically, I'm saying to you, you can do this. When some of these scientists and inventors started out in the field, they were considered to be foolish and having their heads in the clouds, but they believed in themselves and persevered. Believe in yourself. Take the first step by asking to see the handbook for the guidelines today. Anybody with a good idea can do this.
In other news now, preparations are being made for the hosting of the Queen of Calypso competition during this Independence Month of activities. Addressing the launch of the program of activities on Tuesday, President of the National Calypso Association, Earl Kaba Bennett, said they are committed to hosting the show on October 15th and that the public has many reasons to attend the show.
For the last three competition, we have received rave reviews. Some people even go and say it's better than the National Calypso Finals, but I am not going to say anything more about it. I'm not saying what others have said, not me. So we have 3 former queens, including the longest reigning queen of Calypso in the post of Charlie Mackenzie. She'll be reigning for 3 years now. At the last year was 2019. We have Little Bit, former queen, Joanna Christopher, known as Nubian Princess, former queen as well. She won in 2018, Shelley won in 2019. And we have Sheena Collis, a lady full of talent and nipping on the heels of Chanel and all the others. We have from graduates a newcomer in the name of Collection. We have Cleopatra, a veteran, Lady D, very versatile person, Georgette Nanton, and we also have Samantha Martin, and I'm saying this with great pleasure, because this young lady is a teacher. She wrote several calypsos for the junior calypso competition. She fell in love with calypso and decided to enter the competition this year. So I think we need to applaud Samantha and welcome her to the program. We have from the lone competitor from Anto Marvel. So with all these ladies clashing, it's fireworks, it's royalty, it's real bacchanal. Because they say once there's calypso, there's bacchanal.
Using the opportunity to invite persons to the grand finale of the KCCCU Dance Festival on October 8th at the Russell's Auditorium, Cultural Officer Maxine Brown said another major event to be held this month is a Spotlight Taiwan Haruna Formosa Creative Arts Festival to be held on Thursday, October 13th, 2022, and will be hosted by the Ministry of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture in collaboration with the Embassy of the Republic of China on Taiwan.
Hey, Haruna, you think of our traditional name for St. Vincent, Haruna. And Formosa is the traditional name for Taiwan. Taiwan invested $30,000 US, equivalent to about over $80,000 Eastern Caribbean dollars, to foster or enable this project. What's the objective? The objective of this project is basically to spotlight Taiwan. So it's indicative of its name, where we showcase Taiwan in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and of course, bearing on the theme, collaborations through the arts, we're collaborating with Taiwan. You know, Taiwan has been here. We have had 41 years of diplomatic relations. So they have been here a long time, and now they have invested in us, in the Department of Culture, through the arts, the creative and cultural industries, to enable this festival. And this festival will showcase
the Taiwan Haruna Formosa Creative Arts Festival will feature film, music, fashion, and craft.